It's time for our daily dose of cope. And here we have the plus size leopard Gus. Poor Gus. Definitely going to have to get on some kind of weight management regimen because there are just so many faces, and obviously he can't help himself. Let's jump into some of these stories. Now we have Randy. Randy is talking directly to Donald Trump. He says, more broken promises. I am Republican and a combat infantry veteran before you try and come at me, but I will 100% tell you Trump does not care about veterans or the current military. Trust me, I'm a veteran and get treated like a piece of garbage by the VA. We just had American soldiers attacked on American soil, and all he's going to do is look into it. What a joke. This should be considered war on American soil. The enemy is just probing to see what they can get away with. It's just a small attack this time. By the way, Trump, your White House hotline for veterans is useless. I have called and left a message daily for the past year with zero responses. I have also emailed how I have had malpractice happen to me from the VA with no response. Senators and governors I have contacted said it is a federal government problem and nothing they can do. So I have lost all confidence in your ability to make the right decisions for this country. Oh, plus you continue to tax people out of their homes and sit back and enjoy watching it destroy their lives. I had a lot of confidence in you and prayed very hard you were going to fix this great nation. But so far, your performance is pretty subpar. Not that anything I say matters. We, the people, no longer have a voice in this nation. Well, this is what you voted for. You voted for a felon that only cares about rich people. What did you expect? He showed his disdain for the military this whole time, and y'all still vote with them lock, stock, and barrel. This is what you deserve, Randy. That was his name, Randy. Sheila is also talking directly to Donald Trump, saying, I call BS too, not the same man he was first term. I also voted for you twice. Wish I could take the second vote back. I just stayed home and not voted at. Trump's not doing nothing he's promised. He's not even working for America. There's no America first. It's mostly Israel. It seems that's who he working and answering to. Yes, he's been compromised. I feel he's a traitor and I hate this. I'm sad, mad, and disappointed. This past week broke the straw. It broke the straw. It's not the straw that broke the camel's back. This week broke the straw. This is going to be rough for Nebraska, the red state of Nebraska. It says Tyson Foods plant set for closure, firing 3,000 employees in a 15,000 person Nebraska town. Red states voted for the Trump economy, and that's what they're getting. So this was a Threads post. Let's look at a couple of comments underneath it. Mitch says Nebraskans overwhelmingly voted for this man 3 times. They are getting everything they deserve. They need to take responsibility for their choices. Personally, I have no F's left to give about these people. My healthcare costs are about to triple because they chose hatred and resentment over logic and reason. This is karmic retribution. Suck it up, Nebraska. You have no one to blame but yourselves. I see y'all says, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they're losing hospitals as well. Please send Trump a Christmas card and thank him FAFO. And this is just a reminder of the hospital they're losing. Southwest Nebraska Medical Center announces plans to close, blames uncertainty over funding, all because the big, beautiful BS of a bill. This happened back in July. The uncertainty over federal Medicaid funding appears to have claimed its first victim in Nebraska. Community Hospital in McCook announced Wednesday that it will close Curtis Medical Center in Curtis, winding down its services over the next several months. Unfortunately, the current financial environment, driven by anticipated federal budget cuts to Medicaid, has made it impossible for us to continue operating all of our services, many of which have faced significant financial challenges for years, Tony Bruntz, president and CEO of Community Hospital, said in a news release. The budget reconciliation bill that the House of Representatives voted to approve on Thursday contains several provisions that experts say will slash Medicaid, which rural hospitals are more dependent on than their urban counterparts. Earlier this week, during a Zoom meeting put on by the multi-state organization United Today, Stronger Tomorrow, officials estimated that up to 6 Nebraska hospitals could be forced to close if the bill passes. We currently have 6 hospitals that we feel are in a critical financial state, 3 that are in an impending kind of closure or conversion over to the rural emergency hospital model. Jed Hansen, executive director for the Nebraska Rural Health Association, said during the meeting, "We would likely see the closures within a year or two once the bill is fully enacted." That definitely sucks. That definitely sucks that these Republican lawmakers actually created these laws that are going to cause these rural hospitals to close down. It's going to suck, but this is what they voted for. They voted to harm their own constituents, but also their constituents voted them in. So they all voted for this. So this is what they deserve. Policy Poodle says just wait until all these unemployed people find out they won't be eligible for Medicaid or food stamps unless they have a job in a town where all the jobs disappeared. And then Kesh and Cincy says, I'm glad the Dems don't have power because they're always saving and bailing Americans out. Now people can see who is helping them. You don't know how hard someone is writing for you until they park. Yes, Kesh and Cincy, I don't believe that they should bail them out right now. I think that they're going to have to face the consequences of their vote for a little while, at least 3 to 7 years. And I might push it for 7 to 10 years. They need to feel the consequences of their vote. This is an article about the Tyson closure. They're calling it a catastrophe. Trump economy kills 1 in 3 jobs in a deep red Nebraska town. So this is a Nebraska resident and reverend. He is obviously distraught about what's going on. Residents of Lexington, Nebraska are panicking after the town's largest employer announced it would be shutting down operations early next year. MS Now versus MSNBC reported Friday from Lexington, the seat of Dawson County, Nebraska, which Trump easily carried with more than 74% of the vote last year. Meatpacking company Tyson employs 3,200 people in Lexington, though they will all be out of a job come January 20th when the plant is shutting down. That is a lot, but 74% of these people voted for this. Now we have Judy. Judy has a lot to say. Judy says, well, I'm going to get a $40 raise on my Social Security, but my meds are going up, doctor going up, my Medicare payments going up, so that $40 just puts me about $400 in the hole or more. Make it make sense. I don't care who is in office. They don't help the poor people. Seems the higher middle class and the rich are doing great. The lower end of the middle class and the poor are screwed again. I'm done with all sides. Gas here has not gone down, maybe a few cents, but groceries are still outrageous. All this money they say we are saving now, who's it going to? Not us, not any senior that's paid in all their life and still has to pay. It's not going to us for sure. And the working 2-parent home that are struggling just to make ends meet can't qualify for nothing because they might be $50 over than their limits. What the heck is $50 when you got kids, or really just one kid nowadays? But people up in Washington, all of them have never done with anything their kid have never done without. So they don't understand what it's like to struggle. I say fire everyone from the presidential, Senate, Congress, put in poor people, people that actually do manual labor. You will see a big change for people who actually deserve a break. We, no matter what dude you are, can't expect to put millionaires or billionaires in office and them to understand what we go through. It will never happen ever. Plus, tearing down part of the White House, is that not a historical home? I do not give a damn about their $billion ballroom. Be like us, dance out on the lawn. All of them billions to be spent, and I don't care whose pocket is paying for it. Just think if they had given every American just a little of that money, we wouldn't be struggling. But no, let's build a ballroom. It's not like they didn't have one to start up with in there anyway. Anyways, I voted for Trump 3 times, but he's doing things that don't make sense. If he and her were running again against each other, I would just sit that one out, like I did my state's governor race. Honestly, I don't see anything he's done to help everyone. I know, but that's because we all unclass, I guess. I understand there are a lot of people who misuse EBT, but a lot don't, because the poorer people get EBT, their kids will not be good enough to have some candy, a cold drink, a bag of chips, etc., because they are poor. but all other child will still get that. I understand you pay for it, but if I had small kids and I did and I worked and raised them, but I drew some stamps, yes I did, when they came in a book, coupons, that's how I had to buy a cake for them or a tub of ice cream, etc., because all my money paid the bills. If you qualify them, it should be up to you what you buy and eat. I'm 68. I get $45 in EBT. I don't eat much nowadays, so I buy a few dinners to throw in the microwave. That's all I need. But now they're going to cut that out also? It's freaking food. It's just all I need. I'm not for Michelle Obama at all, but when she tried to make school lunches healthy, the Republicans fought against her. But now this EBT thing is about eating healthy. Make it make sense. A lot of parents pack their kids' lunch, but they buy packaged chips, crackers, etc. But not after next year. Oh no, no more Lunchables either, kids. I understand everything in moderation, but couldn't they put a limit on these things a month you can buy? They do other things. I've been waiting. Okay, I'm kind of done. Y'all see, you can see the rest of this. She's just going on and on and on. She wrote a 3-page letter, but basically she's like, we're poor, but we don't get to eat what we want. But like she did say, Michelle Obama tried this, but everybody pushed back on it. But now the Republicans are in charge. They're all for limiting people's choices. So we just left one Judy going to another Judy. She says, I'm a huge supporter of President Trump, MAGA, but I'm growing increasingly frustrated. I just received a Harvard Pilgrim bill stating that I must pay $60 per month for myself and an additional $60 per month for my husband in healthcare costs starting January 1st. We have a monthly income of $3,000 from SSA and pay rent with $1,000 allocated for healthcare. This is bad. Check your mail, people. It's all coming. The average person cannot afford healthcare. So then she said, I love Trump, but this is happening now, January 1st. Everyone is paying huge amounts in their healthcare. Why is it going up? This will hurt him. And then Philip says, take your negative somewhere else. Maybe shouldn't have gotten Obamacare to start with. I had to laugh at that. And then Rick says, Judy, not me. So stop saying everyone. Start praying. It's all in God's hands in the end. And right now, the Republicans are like, they're scrambling to figure something out. They voted with their whole chest for this one big, beautiful BS of a bill. They knew that it was going to scrap Medicaid, but they still did it. So now their constituents are freaking out because these policies are coming in the mail with their new costs. So people are sitting up here panicking, and they should, because it's going to be a lot of people that will be out of insurance because folks cannot afford all of these extra hundreds of dollars per month. Now we're going to end with this video from this woman named Jessica. Listen to her video and how she tiptoes around the words. She needed to terminate a pregnancy that was unviable, but she doesn't come out and say the words. She is a Christian conservative, and she's pro-life, but she doesn't understand that this is what pro-choice women, pro-choice people have been saying. Women need this type of care because not all of these fetuses will make it through viable pregnancies. And so the way the pro-life crowd comes in and makes everything so vitriolic, saying that we just want to murder babies. No, it bit her in the butt. And I'm glad that her video is going all over social media. So go ahead and give it a watch if you haven't seen this video from Jessica.
I am a wrestling coach in Iowa, mother of 4. I voted conservative. The craziest thing has happened to me a few weeks ago, and I really feel the need to share it from the position of a very pissed off conservative Christian woman. I almost died. Because I was denied medical care here in Iowa after being diagnosed with a fatal fetus. So my baby was not going to make it. There was no chance of it. We got multiple opinions. No chance. Shortly after that, my health started to rapidly decline, and I was not able to seek care in a timely manner or nearly at all. I was told to miscarry at home or wait it out or ask Google what to do when I asked where could I go for a resolution to my problem. So I had a fetus in me that's poisoning me from the inside out. I have 3 healthy, lovely children at home, a business to run, a husband, and I'm not allowed to choose me? Where's the pro-life in that? Pro-life, like, choose me, choose the mother. We're completely forgetting the mother in this situation. At no point should a dying fetus have more precedence in a healthcare system over a healthy mother who's contributing positively to society. Like, my God, please help us. This is not what we voted for, you guys. This is not it. Doctors should not be afraid to do their job. And that is the case here in Iowa. It's not that they don't want to help us. It's that they are afraid to do their job and save our lives. Politics and religion have no place in healthcare. They have no place on my body, on my health.
My wife almost died last week. I'm a legal immigrant, resident, and future citizen, and I live in Des Moines, Iowa. I come from a very religious, even conservative and traditional country, but we were wronged here by the medical system, influenced by the politicians. Our baby was dying. There was no hope. The logical step would have been to terminate the pregnancy to save my wife's life. Doctors, out of fear of getting sued, refused that, influenced by the politicians and propaganda. I had to rush her to the hospital, in which it took 2 hours for us just to see the doctor after she experienced hard chest pains and could barely walk. We didn't even get to grieve our own baby because we had to fight for the life of my wife. And we had to fight on our own because doctors weren't even allowed to tell us what to do, where to go. I really hope that no other family doesn't have to go through anything that we went through. So that's why I want to send a message to anyone listening that we need to stand up for what is right. I have 2 kids with my wife. She has 4 kids altogether. All of those kids would have been heartbroken. Her lives would have been changed forever if my wife got sepsis and died because doctors refused to treat her and terminate a baby in pregnancy that was gonna die 100%. We prayed, we did everything right. We are healthy people, but yet we were cornered by the medical system and we were cornered by the government. Healthcare shouldn't be political. Once human lives are in danger, just how my wife's life was in danger, politics needs to stay out.